Hi everybody, good evening. How's everyone feeling tonight? I will admit it was a really tough job, but I want to be completely honest. Where's my first manager? Is John still here? Allison?
They all had to go back home.
I'm gonna go, well, if she's the only one here. This is Allison, one of my first managers. Honestly, these guys really made the convention look good. Like, Nate gave me the credit, but I wouldn't be lying if I said, he gave them a little credit. I want to say 95% of the credit for how well, like, we were able to get a lot of schedule. If you guys were here last year, you knew how messed up the scheduling was, like the dance was running really late, and that was a huge concern. You guys talked about it in the feedback meeting, and, you know, we created program ops to try and address that a little bit. You can sit down if you talk. But honestly, like and I honestly feel like we were able to meet that goal, and 95% of the reason why programming ran on time, why we were able to starting on time depended on the panelists for the most part, whether they made it on time or not. But we always finished on time. That was our number one priority, was finishing on time so then we could get the next programming ready to go. These guys made the job happen. It was 95% of our success as a convention was because of those guys. So.
So I'm going to go help load the truck. If there's anyone else that wants to help, please come with me.
I just have a couple of questions for the audience. I'm Ron Antel, I'm the hotel liaison here. That means I have to deal with, and the sleeping rooms too. So I was just wondering, yes, the hotel is spread out. That's a good thing, it's a bad thing. Obviously, and when it rains, it's a very bad thing, but we can't help that. But overall, my question is, first of all, do you feel that the space that we have here now is good, better, or do you like the space we had on the other side for those of you who were here last year? Does anybody want to make a mention about that?
I prefer the space from last year, just because it was, even if it was more condensed, it was like, you knew where everything was, I guess. Because there would be, you could, I mean, even though there wasn't as many signs, you could, figure it out.
Trouble with that was, that, of course, that if we had this number of people in that space, you could imagine what that would be like. Let me get back there.
I kind of like it how there was this space, not like how, but then again, the concept of people not being able to use math and everything. But either way, how the convention this year was larger, I kind of like it this way because more people were able to like spread out. It wasn't that much crowded like last year. The lines last year to get the tickets were so massive that people couldn't walk through the hallways. So I liked it this year. So.
I think considering the fact that you went into this space and had to work with it, from personal experience, I know that you have to use a space in order to understand what it means to you and how people flow. And I would suggest if you could just get a little more space, because you know you're going to be bigger next year, to use the space and a little more that you had this year, and just learn as you go along. But you know that.
By the way, just an aside, at this particular property, the amount of space that you get is dependent on the hotel rooms you fill, sleeping rooms that is. You get this amount of space, they want so many rooms. You want larger space? Well, they want more rooms. I mention this because to support the convention, the only thing that we ask, obviously you buy your membership, the other thing that you're doing to support the convention is staying at the hotel. And that doesn't just apply to Anime Conji, it applies to every one of these conventions. Staying at the hotel actually supports the convention because it provides the sleeping room pickup we need in order to get the space that we need. And we use a lot of space in all types of conventions, be it this, be it science fiction, be it the Gaslight Convention in May, or Conjecture Convention in October, whatever, that all uses a lot of space, and you need the hotel room. So if you can stay here, you're supporting the con. Richie?
I just want to say real quick, if you've never stayed at a hotel during the con, that experience is way different and way better. Because you're worries about gas and travel every day, parking is taken care of because you're on property, and just being able to choose whenever you want to sleep, not like, I know I have to leave now, make it home, make it to traffic, whatever. Staying on con site, it will just make your experience better, so just like that.
This is my first time at Conji. Personally, I would recommend more signs for this space because, yesterday when I first got here, I had a lot of trouble finding the rooms. And when I would read the maps, they were very confusing. For example, one said B pool, and I found 2 pools and couldn't figure out which one it was.
It's 3. Value, all right.
In connection with that, I would highly recommend, I know the reasons why we didn't have one this year, but I highly recommend that we do have an information desk next year, an information table, where people can go with their questions, and it's just as simple as, where do I find X, Y, or Z? And that in itself, beside the signage, I think would have made a big difference.
Okay, sorry, the last, it's to do with the hotel rooms. When I registered and I got a hotel room and all that, I asked for the top, like the Royal Palm or whatever, the really big one, and I ended up way out in like the Ruins. It was like some random place over on the side, and I felt kind of cheated because I like specifically requested that hotel room because I was really close to the convention. And so, and they, when I went and asked them what that was about, they was like, oh, it was just, it wasn't like a thing you were actually going to get, it was just a suggestion, like you wanted this one. But it seemed, it sounded on the website like it was legitimately what I would get.
The way this particular property works is when you get a number of hotel rooms reserved, and so we reserve 400 room nights, for example, and so we have so many room nights per night. They don't allocate all of those rooms in the one tower. It's true. They'll allocate maybe 45% of them there. And this is a spread out property and the rooms all over the place. You're absolutely right. The only thing that you could do to help guarantee or give you a better chance of getting what you want is to book early. I can address that to the best I can. I do attempt to allocate more rooms in the space that's closest, i.e. the Pylon Tower, but I can't accommodate everybody, especially if you have a lot. And there were other conventions in the hotel at the time too. We were not the big fish this year. The big fish was an educators convention that ended yesterday. So that contended for the space as well.
Regarding information desk, we did have one. As far as I was aware, it was in Devonshire, I thought. But Richie, did you want to address that question? I don't know, about the information desk?
I'll defer this to the department head of.
Okay, no problem. This is Daryl. He's the head of information desk.
You guys can hear me, right? Okay, pretty much what ended up happening was, a lot of things got backed up. I've been doing a lot of extra work because, kind of go short staff in a lot of places. But we actually did ask the hotel for tables that we never really got until Veronica was later on Friday, I believe.
Tables for what?
For admission desk and civil services.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so we had asked for these tables, but the hotel couldn't really accommodate us at the time because, they were so backed up with all the other events going on. And so when we finally did get the tables, apparently someone else grabbed the tables and started using them, and I had no idea, because I've been running back and forth, answering questions. A lot of my staff had basically been assigned to one of the property, and if somebody had problems, to help them guide the places. I literally had a guy who I just met Friday as my staffer. That's all he did the entire event. He was great help. A lot of my staff did this, and I expect a lot of other staff to be able to do it too, but considering I didn't get the table, and I never knew when I had it, when I finally was able to possibly get it, the hotel took it over and started selling food. So,
We could have done it. do better next
Yeah,
year.
we'll try to do better next year.
By the way, a comment about that food in the foyer. The attempt was to provide some sustenance for everybody without them having to run around. And the hotel actually charged far lower prices than they would normally because the sales manager knew the type of crowd we had and he was trying to provide something for people to be able to eat without spending hotel prices on it. I just was wondering what the tenor of the crowd here is on, was it successful yesterday? Should it not have been there? Because I'll pass this on to my hotel manager.
If you could have that there, that was really useful to me. It was, I need protein, oh good. Hot dog, $2.95. $2.95? Okay, hot dogs in hotels don't cost $2.95, they cost $5 or $6. This was a good price for a hotel hot dog. They were quick, ready, responsive. They said condiments over there, and I was done and I had what I needed to move on. So I appreciate it personally.
I can agree with him as well. And like everybody, if they, there was also the main cafe, they would have to run through the rain. So pretty much the people that were here, they were able to get the food here and be somewhere where they wouldn't get wet. So I kind of like that.
There was something next to you.
And there's someone over there.
Yeah.
I did really like the idea. I just wasn't too big a fan of the lack of chairs where you could sit down and eat.
Good point on that.
So first of all, I would really like to thank registration, and I would also like to thank the Umbrella Corporation, because I remember there was, I think it was just today, when we had a panel, I think it was autographs or something like that, and then we had a big line to organize. At the time, it was